Hello everyone, welcome to my DIY cat tower video. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this very cheap and very quickly. So as you can see, we pretty much already had the diagram laid out here of how we wanted this cat tower to turn out. As time goes on, you'll see that we don't really follow that diagram too much, but it was definitely something worth going off of. So first we went to Home Depot and we purchased 2 pieces of wood, very thin. I'll include the measurements at the end of the video. So after we just penciled out the measurements we wanted, we brought it outside and we got this on. And we purchased these at Home Depot again for about $5 and we picked up 2 of those. After doing that, we started putting it together. So here we already have the base down and we are putting up walls for it. So this is kind of a ghetto way of doing it, but this is just what we had at the moment. So we're doing it very slowly and gently so we don't break the walls because they're super thin. Next, we're going to be putting the roof on top of it. So you just want to make sure it's definitely in line. That way when you screw it in, you don't mess up and then you have to take it back out. Like I said, it is very thin wood, so you don't want to mess up. So once you do get it all aligned, you can start drilling out the holes that are going to be needed. Nice and easy so nothing breaks. But this is what the inside is going to be looking like. It's not very big, but our cats aren't really that big. And also sometimes cats like laying in like small areas or, you know, just something that's away from everyone. So once we had the lid, it'll definitely put on more character to it. And there's one of our furry friends waiting for this project to be over with. So now once, you know, you screwed all in the holes that you know so everything's in line, you can get the screws ready, get your drill ready, and start actually screwing the lid on. And like I said, make sure it is accurate. That way you don't have to keep, you know, redoing the screws over and over and over. So as you can see, it's working pretty well so far, and we haven't even like put on all the screws. So he's pretty excited to just kind of, you know, go in there. So we're finishing this off, and as you can see, it's pretty sturdy. So next we got these items very cheap. We got this vase. We got 5 of those at the Dollar Tree, so $1 each. We also had this rope just laying around the house, so 0 cost for us, but you can probably pick that up at any store. We got some super glue also from the dollar store, and from Home Depot some Gorilla Glue. Jumping ahead here, we already pretty much put on the rope to the vases what we wanted, and it's just going to be used as a scratch post. So we put some super glue all around it kind of, and just very tightly wrapped the rope around it. And now we're going to be applying some Gorilla Glue to the base of both of those, and now we're just going to put it together. Make sure they are aligned. Like I said, once it dries, like, it's going to be hard to kind of fix anything, so definitely make sure it's aligned and that it dries. And we will be filling that gap with some extra rope that we have. Kind of jumping ahead here, sorry to fast forward, but my boyfriend's a little impatient. After doing the scratch post, we added this another base to the top. So it's basically just a box in the bottom, a scratch post, and another box in the top. And so this is the bottom but facing upwards, so it's kind of confusing, but you'll see it later on. But we cut out that hole so they can get through from the bottom 2 ways, this way and that other way through the hole. This is what it looks like from the inside, and this is pretty much what we have so far. So we decided to add a little bit more support, definitely for the second layer. One of the cats had jumped on and it just looked like it could use another support handle. So we are using extra wood from the wood that we have, and that right there is the top layer. So that's, you can get an idea of how big the bases kind of are. And so right here, we're just again drilling some holes through it so we know exactly where to place the extra support handle. So we just finished that off by drilling that right in there, so it definitely has no chance of moving. So that definitely will help with the sturdiness of the cat tower so far. Next, we're going to be adding just a little kind of a step, I would say it is, just over here on the side. That way they have just like an extra step to kind of jump from there to the top instead of having to jump from all the way to the floor to the top level. So we're just drilling the holes here, prepping that step. And once everything's, looking good, you can go ahead and screw those screws right in there. And there it is. There's our extra step, and that way they can jump on that and then jump to the top layer. And this is what it looks like so far. So they can jump from there to there to there. I also forgot to show you guys this. We have this latch already in the closet, but you can also pick up one at Home Depot. And so we just pretty much put on the door here, and as you can see, there are screws sticking out, but we did saw them down to completely like nothing, so there's nothing poking out at all. And that's just a little extra fun door just to have. We can open and close. Next, we went back to the Dollar Tree because they have everything you need. We picked up some pieces of carpet, and we got like 5 of those, I believe, and we pretty much are over here already cutting out that circle for that base. And so just definitely make sure you measure it out, because we messed up here. Actually, we ended up cutting out the circle for the top layer instead of the bottom layer, and it was just a little confusing. So just make sure it's all aligned, and so you don't run out of carpet or have to go make another trip back to the store. And so make sure you cut that end so this can just open up. That way you can just wrap right around that pole, since we've already pretty much glued it down. So we decided to use that piece of carpet and just use it on the top layer instead. It worked way better that way. And we are also prepping that scratch post right now. We also got that string at the Dollar Tree because we didn't have any more of that thicker string I originally showed you. So we got that at the Dollar Tree. And at the end, you'll see him using a black rope. That's just a different material, and also at the Dollar Tree, just so they have different things to kind of scratch at. And so you can see her here all done. And so we're basically just making sure everything looks good before we glue it all down, because once it's glued down, it's not going to be able to come up. So once again, just add some Gorilla Glue where we're going to be placing that scratch post. And you can just put it right up on there. And make sure it's definitely aligned in that circle, because we already cut out the circle to the carpet. So it would be pretty annoying if we didn't get that correct. And so you can just add more Gorilla Glue to the bottom of that carpet. And once you're done with that, here's another friend waiting for it to be done. And so you can just add that carpet to the top layer, and then it'll be complete. So once you pretty much are done gluing it up, you can just place the carpet right along the scratch post, and just make sure to pat it down just so you can make sure everything's aligned up. And I'm also going to be placing something heavy, such as a rock that we have, and you might have seen it in other clips, but just placing the rock on there just to make sure that when it's drying, it's just staying in place. And so this is what it looks like. Next, I'll be using that same black rope I had used on one of the scratch posts, to use for basically another scratch post, but instead I'm wrapping it around that extra support handle that we had put up earlier, and I'm just wrapping it around here just so they have something else to scratch at, and so it doesn't really look just like a piece of wood sitting there. So this is what we have so far. There's that extra step that we had added, and as you can see, we are adding this toy to permanently just be on the cat tower. It's just a shoestring attached to a toy, and so we're just cutting the shoestring shorter and gonna glue it down with a piece of carpet. So we already used one of the pieces of carpet and cut out a piece of square, so we're just going to be super gluing that on top of there. That way when they play with that toy, it will not come out. So just put a little bit of super glue in one corner and then in another, and just finish with all four corners. And tightly pattern it once you dry it. We'll probably leave that rock on top of there again just to make sure that it stays. Next, we're getting the bottom layer prepped up. We're gonna be adding more carpet to it. And once everything's all cut out, you can go ahead and place that on here. And as you can see, there's a little bit of space, so we did have to take that back out and just cut it a little bit more around the circle inner area, just so we can slide in more. And that worked perfectly fine. And so yeah. And we're also cutting a little slit here in the corner so we can wrap around that handle, and so there's just no gap or, you know, extra carpet just laying upwards. And so as you can see here, it's working pretty well. That's a pretty big cat, and it's holding him up pretty good. This cat is much smaller, so he can definitely fit in the box, but he's loving it. So we are almost complete here. As you can see, everything's looking pretty good. So the latch area probably isn't going to be able to stay opened all the time, but we honestly used that toy as like a prop to hold it open, and it worked perfectly fine. Lastly, we added some glue just to the top layer of that scratch post we had made, and to the piece of wood with the carpet already on it. And as you can see, we placed a heavy rock on top of it just to secure that it will dry. Well, everyone, this is the cat tower. I wish I can say we have painted it, but we haven't done that yet. We will be painting it soon, so you can look out for that video. But this is what we have so far, and like I said, we probably didn't even spend more than like 20 bucks on this. Like, you know, I'll be surprised. But as you can see, it's working pretty good. That toy is holding up pretty well, and the cats are just loving it. They're chilling on top, they're chilling in the bottom, they're scratching at the post. It's working really well. So thank you guys for watching.